And they're doing it with our fucking taxpayer dollars. We fund them. We give them their salaries, their pension program. We give them the fucking weapons that they train on us. How the fuck do you not understand that? The thing that he's saying was a Molotov cocktail was literally a fucking tear gas canister that didn't deploy properly and is incendiary, so it fucking lit on fire, and the guy kicked it over in the direction of the cops away from the fucking dry brush and the buildings, and then got his ass beat and stomped on. Also, this was a very funny thing that took place as well. The New York Post reporter shot in the forehead with rubber bullets while covering the LA riots. Now, obviously, it's not funny to shoot a fucking New York Post reporter in the head. That's not the funny part. The funny part is New York Post, literally an article prior to this, okay, had coverage over another fucking protester getting shot point blank. And the comments and New York Post's own commentary on it was hilarious. They're like, oh, it's so funny. It's so funny that, like, the cops are actually shooting these fucking little freaks. And then they covered this story when their own fucking reporter got shot in the fucking forehead. They had to shut off the comments on that one. I wonder why they had to shut off the comments on their own fucking article when it was their own reporter that got shot in the head. Wow, it feels like the cops don't make a distinction between who's a protester, who's actually doing violent acts, or who's a protester who's simply protesting, or even who's a fucking member of the press. Interesting. Even then, they don't fucking say who shot them. It's obvious who shot them. You see it in the fucking sights. Look. Is no one going to talk about the fact that that was one hell of a shot? There are laws against targeting press. Former police officer, never once was I taught shoot the press during my riot control class. Just FYI for y'all. If anyone had any doubt that the Australian reporter, this should make it obvious. They're targeting the press. Freedom of press is a right, not a privilege. That shot was crazy, not gonna lie. He even caught the fucking sniper glare on his camera. Like, that's crazy. You should make a Substack or something to consolidate arguments and sources in one place. Yeah, it's called My Stream. Makes the scope glint you were seeing yesterday even more scary. Yeah, I will tell you right now, when you see the fucking scope glint, it's terrifying. And I saw it on multiple occasions with the fucking Los Angeles Sheriff's Department freaks at the front line, and then also with the federal agents that were above the building. The lens flare or whatever the fuck it's called. Representatives are now being indicted for anti-ICE behavior. The Democrat Party impeached Trump because he delayed weapon shipments to Ukraine by a day, but not over him sending U.S. military troops onto the streets of Los Angeles to put down anti-ICE protests. I mean, it's not wrong. Obviously, the real reason why they fucking impeached him is because he was doing something unconstitutional, which is to use previously ordained weapons transfers that the Congress had approved in an effort to get dirt on his like upcoming political opponent, which is still fucked up and worthy of impeachment, make no mistake. It's so crazy that when you look at that in the rearview mirror, by the way, it seems like it was a lifetime ago and no one even thinks about that shit. Yeah, watching the KABC live stream in Los Angeles, and it looks like the cops just shot a photographer that was filming on a roof. It's a cop riot, dude. It's a fucking cop riot. LAPD gives order to disperse.
This is the part of the large group that actually rushed the freeway earlier. They've been walking around, milling around after CHP formed a skirmish line to push them off of the freeway, the 101 on the right side of your screen. Traffic just reopening up, but the delays have quickly dissipated. At one point, the backup was going all the way back to Santa Monica Boulevard. Things are moving nicely now, but several dozen people being placed in zip ties and onto a bus where they will be given a citation. You can see LAPD with a skirmish line on the other side there. And if we go all the way up over towards Aliso and Alameda, you can see a larger group. This was a group that obeyed the initial dispersal order in front of the federal building. They moved away from the federal building, but now they're blocking traffic on the overpass over the 101 freeway.
By the way, I called this earlier today. National Guard troops are now protecting ICE agents as they make arrests in LA. I told you. They're going to say that ICE agents are federal law enforcement officers, which is true, they are, and that it is necessary for ICE agents to be protected. That's why they deployed the National Guard, so that they have extra arms and extra hands when they're doing these additional arrests. I think it's crazy. That is even more dangerous, because what if these fucking guys actually end up, troops providing security for ICE in LA. What if these guys, when there's like any sort of response, any sort of fucking reaction to this provocation, they have lethal weapons, chat. Look, like, this isn't riot control, okay? This isn't like crowd control. This isn't like, these are M4s. They got lethal weapons. LA's full of dangerous criminals, but not a single cop has been shot. Love to see how they justify this. I mean, there is no justification. It doesn't matter. People were ready to complain about fucking Mexican flags, dude. You think people who are complaining about Mexican flags give a shit about anything? Anything at all? Yeah, they're fucking, all the people that they arrested, they're putting on buses. They're going to detain them for a day and then release them, obviously. But this was a process that was conducted by Joe Brandon, famously, and his administration against pro-Palestine demonstrators. It is a measure that these people, that the law enforcement takes on specifically to create a chilling effect on speech and demonstrations. The reason why they're doing this is because they're saying basically, hey, we have the power to arrest you. We have the power to detain you. We have the power to fucking book you. And even if we release you the next day, it's over for the day. And you'll think twice before demonstrating again. What? Marines are reportedly refusing to take orders? No, I don't fucking believe that shit. That seems so... Dude, really? Really, Shockwave Streams? Jordan Allen Bailey, Catholic, married, father of 7, registered nurse, Irish, lover of Guinness and Irish whiskey. This is your source? Like you sitting at home? You're right, Chatter. I'm famously not participating in these demonstrations at all. Every single day that I go out, these motherfuckers are like, he's LARPing. Also, if he's not LARPing, he's actually on the front lines. Okay, then he should be arrested. Now that I'm covering it from the... now that I'm covering it from home today so far, could still potentially go out to it. They're like, oh, classic. Sitting at home, fucking asshole. It's interesting because it's like when I go out, when Marsh and I go out, we are extra careful not to fucking do anything that could provoke a response from law enforcement, and we don't do anything illegal. It's all on the fucking record. It's all on camera. I'm on camera the entire fucking time.
That police are starting to
but that doesn't stop cops from shooting at me.
Maybe indicates to people
you know,
who are intent on causing problems that there will be consequences for them. Would you say that might be a part of this, the reason that they're so able and quick about taking people into custody today?
Mark, this is all about optics. I've been thinking this for the last 72 hours, and it's become more and more obvious that the optics here are really the priority for all of these different agencies, our local departments, again, the higher ranks all the way up to the politicians. It's very apparent that they are in place and ready to take action to avoid some of the ugliest pictures that have been coming out in the overnight hours and earlier over the weekend. I will say, just as a raw fact, the number of protesters out on the street this afternoon, including the group here, including the group at the federal building, including the folks that even rushed the freeway, they are far outnumbered by the number of law enforcement that are out here this afternoon. I would say for every protester out here, there's probably about a half a dozen. And so that just kind of gives you an idea of the ratio, law enforcement to protester. They are far outnumbered by law enforcement.
Certainly, Chris, thank you.
Usually it's the other way around, right? Normally we're talking about how law enforcement is so overpowered and you know, outnumbered. It is the exact opposite today.
Yeah, and after 5 days of demonstrations in this area, you would imagine, too, just the law enforcement response, not only the numbers, but just the organization for knowing which areas, which streets, and how to best control this crowd. That kind of increases every day that they've been out there. So that's certainly good news as things hopefully remain peaceful. We do want to get now to Josh Haskell, who's been
For people saying this is how they break people's will to protest, it doesn't work that way. This kind of reaction and retaliation only invites more, this kind of provocation only invites more of a response. The only thing that's stopping from large crowds from going out and taking to the streets right now is that it's a fucking work day. That's it. This is exactly what happened with the fucking pro-Palestinian demonstrations too. The only reason why they stopped is because of summer. Saturday is going to be a fucking major media day as well.
Officers in those vehicles are over at that crowd of protesters who ran onto the 101 freeway and blocked traffic. But as Mark, Michelle, and Chris, you guys were just talking about, all day today, the California Highway Patrol has been stationed at every exit and entrance, even if we show you over there in the distance. That's more California Highway Patrol just waiting for something like this to happen. But I want to set the scene of where we're at. Most of the protests that we've seen today.
Chatters, yes, they will throw out the fucking charges for all the people that were arrested. They usually always do that. It's not about like actually keeping them and holding. Okay? It's not about keeping them and holding. It's about actually getting them to stop protesting for the day. That's the point.
Obey that dispersal order. About 40 to 50 of them were taken into custody. This crowd remains, and this is what we're dealing with right now. It's not a large crowd. It's been peaceful for the most part, but I can tell you that different people are coming from all sorts of directions, and I want to show you.
Yeah, I should maybe worry about the optics of kidnapping children, but I'm told optics are only for people protesting the kidnapping of children. Breaking. Federal agents in plainclothes and unmarked cars tried to snatch first graders from LA elementary schools, told staff that they had parental consent. They lied. When pressed, they hid their IDs. Department of Homeland Security admits they sent them. This was a test run for a police state. Think about how fucking insane that is.
After an unusual and disturbing visit, several federal agents from the Department of Homeland Security showed up at 2 elementary schools this week demanding to talk to students. What happened next has Superintendent Alberto Carvalho praising school workers and demanding answers. Eyewitness News reporter
Bro, they try to kidnap children, okay? They try to kidnap school children, like first graders and shit. What are we talking about, man? Yeah, the pedophile-ruled U.S. government is kidnapping children in broad daylight, but the deep state Republicans don't have a problem with it because the one doing it is a pedophile they like. And also, a lot of them are also pedophiles themselves. Pedocon is a theory only as far as like the theory of gravity is a theory, okay? Pedocon is a reality. These motherfuckers are all pedophiles, dude. Republicans, the overwhelming majority. Holy fuck, every single Republican politician. Oh my lord, dude. Oh my fucking lord. How many of them have to be outed as sex pests and pedophiles? It has already started. The protests are starting all around the country, in New York as well. By Saturday, this shit is going to be a biblical sized protest because all the liberals are going to come out on Saturday as well. These are the people that are out on the streets right now. They're people just like you. They're nurses, they're teachers, they're doctors. We saw people from all different walks of life on the protest when we were out there. Okay? But also on Saturday, there is a lived up version of the protest. So that is going to bring all of the wine moms, the Debras, the Barbaras, the Hanks, everyone and their mothers are going to be out. We will also be out, obviously.
Decision coming any moment. Clear that the mayor of Los Angeles supports it. We've got live pictures of protesters in New York and Chicago filling the streets. In fact, new video just into out front of a car in Chicago moving through a protest. It appeared to push a few.
This happened yesterday as well. We filmed this in LA too.
Sign holders there in the protest in Chicago before then speeding away. So unclear exactly what we were seeing there. Also, large protests underway in New York City, protesting Trump's deportations and the use of ICE officers with those ICE raids. Shimon Prokupez is out front in New York City. Whitney Wild is out front in Chicago. I want to begin, though, with you, Shimon, in New York. And what are you seeing there?
Aaron, one of the largest protests that this city has seen in quite some time. This protest has stretched for blocks from each side of the avenues, from 6th Avenue. We're now on Hudson Street, and we've been going for about nearly 2 hours. And you can see people are holding signs saying ICE out of New York City. We've seen flags of Mexico. We've seen the Palestinian flag, and really just a convergence of different issues, different concerns that people here in New York City have. Also,
my worry is that there's going to be counter protesters. There's immediately in New York, there's counter protesters. This reminds me of that one fucking kid who in New York, there were a bunch of people who were protesting outside of an ICE facility in New York. And this kid walked up to them and started talking to them about fucking Palestine and shit. And the guys were like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? This is an ICE facility. We're protesting fucking ICE kidnappings. And he's like, I don't know. I saw people with keffiyehs. So I got excited. And of course, there they are, the counter protesters. The optics of different flags, man. The optics of foreign flags. Fucking loser. Please join us. Thank you, Donna Andrea, for making a flyer and arranging. Counter protest. There's only one solution. Deportation revolution. Oh, God, they're so fucking lame. They're so goddamn lame. And urge the removal of non-citizens. Amazing community note. Representative Jordan has an Israeli flag outside of his office door. This is a message, not a flag. No, that's not a foreign flag, man. That's another state. That's like having a state flag, you know? Jim Jordan's simply putting his own... What the fuck?
Like they were doing specific drills on crowd control. President Trump sent them yesterday to help the California National Guard with the LA protests. Eyewitness News reporter Rob McMillan live in Seal Beach with more on
Oh my God, the dumbest fucking crayon eating hogs, dude. Oh my Lord, it is so fucked. Curfew decision in 30 minutes. I think in order for me, I looked it up. While we were in the process of like looking at the curfew situation, I looked it up. I have to have a LAPD press pass potentially, and I can still get arrested even if I haven't for violating the curfew. If I were to go to the area, she's most likely going to put forward a limited curfew in certain parts of downtown Los Angeles. I'm trying to see if how I can get potentially credentialed. Okay. It's not worth the slop. It's not slop. Do you know who coined the term Burger Reich? Yeah, me. I did. Why? Are other people outside of this community finally fucking using it? No, I don't think Matt Christman said Burger Reich. Wait, was it Matt Christman? Did Matt Christman also say it? No, I think he said something different. No, Matt Christman coined treatlerites and the treats theory. He might have been, to be fair. I mean, he's brilliant. He's infinitely smarter than me. Yeah, Matt Christman came up with the grill pill. He came up with CNN talking about military ice raids.
Different than the items that Mr. Miller talked about there perfectly, which kind of outlined that sort of dealing with protests and having the National Guard and local law enforcement, state and local, deal with those individuals and those that are causing harm to be arrested. That is separate than having military officers, service members integrated into domestic enforcement operations. ICE operations, it's not like playing Call of Duty, and it is nothing like the sort of the capabilities that the Marine Corps, which would bring to the table, and the sort of lethality and the sort of capability and sort of the tactics and techniques, sort of integrating military forces into domestic immigration operations against those that had legal status here a few weeks ago that are non-criminals is extremely dangerous both for communities and for the service members.
You know, John, to that end, the Marines getting additional training today, despite what Secretary Hex has said that they're fully trained in this additional training. What kind of training do you think that is?
Well, what the Marine Commandant testified today was that they had been trained in de-escalation and crowd control. These are incredibly highly trained Marines, though. This is the 2nd Marine, 7th Battalion. They come from 29 Palms. They are specialists in operating in desert environments, in close quarters combat. They're a rifle company. So this would be a fairly dramatic departure from the work that they did from Guadalcanal to Anbar Province.
Karen Bass is on MSNBC with Chris Hayes right now. Hasanabi head Chris Hayes is interviewing the Los Angeles mayor.
In the beginning, this was going to be gang members, violent criminals, drug dealers, and I have a hard time imagining that's who is in a Home Depot parking lot. You know, in our city, we have day labor structures where people are not just hanging out. And so they were waiting, and day laborers are people who work every single day. They seek employment day after day. They are just trying to survive. And to have them being chased through a parking lot, or to have an office be raided where the family members are calling home saying, hey, I think I'm going to be detained. And then the family shows up with small children and they watch their parents be carted off, and then they can't contact them. They don't know where they are. The people that are detained have no legal representation or no access to legal representation. And from the immigrant rights community, which is a very well-developed, established community in Los Angeles, this is a serious departure from the way things were handled in the past.
The Deputy Chief of Staff of the White House, Stephen Miller, I want to say he has been talking about essentially you and the governor as guilty of essentially insurrection. He keeps using that word, and I want to read to you something he said about you. He said, Mayor again sides with the insurrection mob, tells ICE to abandon the city. Mayor Bass thinks it's shameful to defend the lives of ICE officers performing their constitutional duties, but not shameful that California spends billions subsidizing and rewarding the illegal alien invasion. What do you say to that?
No, I mean, I think it's a despicable comment. The way that our city has been characterized as hordes of migrants that have taken over our city, we're crime-ridden and civil unrest everywhere, is just a despicable characterization for the city that in 12 months is going to be hosting the World Cup. And we are a city of immigrants. There are a lot of sectors of our economy that are completely dependent on immigrant labor. Try the construction industry, where people say that 40% of the construction workers are Latino. I would venture to say that it's a lot more than that. In some areas, it's more like 90%. And so when you hit an occupation or industries like that, the childcare industry, the women who are working in homes, the gardeners who are landscaping, the small business owners who are documented or undocumented, but all of them are contributing to our economy. And so if you create a sense of terror in that sector of our city, then you are going to impact the overall quality of life and economy in our city. I was talking to someone today who said they went to their grocery store and there were shelves that were empty because the people were afraid to come to work and stock the shelves. That's the impact of having raids that are just completely unnecessary.
Since you just referenced this, I want to play you something the president said about Los Angeles. I asked you about the Stephen Miller quote, and I don't want to engage too much back and forth, but the president is directing some significant resources and rhetorical fire at your city. Here's what he had to say about Los Angeles earlier today in front of active duty troops at Fort Bragg.
Within the span of a few decades, Los Angeles has gone from being one of the cleanest, safest, and most beautiful cities on earth to being a trash heap with entire neighborhoods under the control of transnational gangs and criminal networks. It's horrible.
What do you think of that?
I have no idea where he's talking about. It is not Los Angeles. I will tell you that when I look at some of the footage of what is happening, you can get the sense that there is civil unrest happening citywide. I have to tell you that the vandalism and the protests that you are looking at is taking place in several streets, individual streets in the downtown area. It is not even all of downtown. And so to depict our entire city this way, or to characterize our city that our city is under duress is just not accurate. If you go 1 or 2 miles in either direction, you don't know that anything is happening at all. We do not need federal troops.
I'm so fucking fed up with law enforcement. I can feel my blood pressure rising. I never thought I would be in this chat supporting you, but over the last 4 months, I've been watching you a lot through people who hate you, but I found myself consistently being like, this is the most disingenuous way of interpreting your view on things. The hate watchers unironically made me a fan of yours. Hell yeah. Welcome to the fight. There are many people like you in here. Trust me. Yeah. Hate watchers, hate watchers that come in from other communities indirectly create a pipeline to my commentary because I'm so fucking consistently right about what I say is going to happen that inevitably people go, okay, well, he was right about this, and the dude who was yelling about his position was wrong. Sometimes it happens in real time, like that Hutch video that we watched, which is really funny, obviously. But usually it takes, you know, a decent amount of time, a couple months. There were hella people at the fucking protest that were saying that too.
As Donald Trump tries to justify his use of the military, California Senator Adam Schiff responds to the president. That's next.
We've waited so long for this.
Yeah, I mean, the Marine rule of... Oh, Ken wanted me to... Hold on. By the way, chatters, Ken wanted me to post this in my community because he knows we got a lot of fans, even active duty service members potentially. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. If you know anything about the use of force cards given the troops deployed to Los Angeles, text me securely via Signal at 202-510-1268. If you know anything about